judgmental of people, because I just had a conversation with a coach this morning. She's been coaching quite a while, and we've had this talk before. She felt that because, husband, she was kind of identifying a couple of candidates. She said, husband needs to lose weight. He did lose weight. He did great on our program, 50 or 60 pounds. But, she said the wife is just itty bitty. She doesn't need our program. And I said, wait a second. Our program is not just a weight loss program. How do you know that mama of two is not struggling to get through her day because she's only eaten twice? How do you know that she's sleeping well? How do you know that she has energy to keep up with those babies? How do you know? We don't know that. And so one of the things I want to encourage you on as you're making your 100's list is count no one out. Count no one out, because when you're looking at our program, oh yeah, we have a rock solid weight loss program. Many of you are products of that. But in addition to that, how about habits? How about sleep? How about stress reduction? How about just being able to fuel your body appropriately every 2 to 3 hours? How about having that tool? How about having a rock solid financial opportunity? So really, when you look at our program, this is how you will never run out of people, is that our program fits anyone. Until they tell me no, and I tell you, they won't tell me no long, because they're going to watch, and they're going to watch me for consistency. They're going to watch you guys for consistency. So a no is just a not right now. Doesn't mean you can't love on them and save space for them, right? So start with your inner circle. Who are those people in your inner circle that love you, that trust you, that maybe are your family members, the people that you want to help the most? Start with those people. Go into your contact list on your phone. I know when I went through my contact list, oh my word, I hadn't gotten connected with a lot of people. Real life does that to you. For me, I was a nurse, a mom, I was busy. I literally lost contact with a lot of people. So it has been so fun for Optavia to encourage me to be a human again, and to actually engage with people and get to know them and where they're at. So go to your contact list in your phone. Now, let's talk about the world of Facebook. I will tell you right now, if you are growing your friends list, you are never probably going to run out of people to connect with. There are so many things even past where you get to that maxed out friends list of people that you can connect with. The world of social media and life in general is endless. Just yesterday, I was at the dental office. One of the technicians there, she said, "Oh, I know your husband. I don't really know you, just know you off Facebook." And I was like, "Oh, are we Facebook friends?" And she was like, "No." I said, "Oh, okay." I went and found her on Facebook, connected with her. New connection right there, right? So you're always going to be thinking about those connections. And so inner circle, contact list, your Facebook friends, and no judgment. Remember, no judgment. So you're going to be able to find an endless amount of people. Now, I do recommend with the 100's list, I preferred whenever I was starting out, and even now, I'm totally 100% committed to doing this 100's list. Again, I actually made a 100's list after our boot camp on Saturday. I did it after boot camp, sat down for about an hour and wrote 100 coach candidates down. That's when it gets fun. We can shift your mindset to who's a coach versus just who's a client. So that's pretty much anybody. But I would say just start. Just get started, and you will be shocked at how many names come to mind. Maybe you write someone down, and then that leads you to someone else, and then that leads you to someone else, and then before you know it, you have a list of 100. So I want to teach you how I worked it with my map. So when I became a coach, and we went to ED pretty quickly, 28 days or something like that, and I got started on my map the very next month. And this 100's list was given to me by Dan. He said, "I think this is a fit for you." And I'm like, okay. I worked that simultaneously with my map. Now, if you are a new coach on here and you don't even have a client yet, or maybe you're not a senior coach, you may or may not know what a map is, and that's okay. Again, anything that's on here is just a suggestion. You guys can work with your support team. But I would fill out my map, and I would simultaneously on the back turn it over and do my 100's list. I wish I had. Actually, I do have my 100's list from this weekend that I will show you, just to kind of give you an idea of how I've been working it. But so as you do your map, have that 100's list ready too, because what I did was, and you can work your 100's list however you would like to work it. But the way I like to work it, the way it worked best for me, and I think the way it has been taught in the past, was to do your list of 100 and do about 15 conversations in a day from your list. Do that in the first 7 days of the month. So your map is done on the first. That's when you start your first 15 conversations in your list of 100. Day 2, 15 more. Day 3, 15 more. And by day 7, you're done with your 100. Actually, I'm not a mathematician, but 105, something around there. You'll get done in 7 days. I'm going to tell you kind of how to work the rest of your month, or how I would work the rest of your month, based on getting those 100 conversations done in a day. So first, starts with a list. Coordinate that with your map. And just do it. Just do it. If you feel that 15 conversations in a day, maybe you're a new coach and you're like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. I'm not sure I can do that. First of all, you can. Whatever you set this to, you can accomplish. But if you feel like that's too many, why don't you start with 5? Challenge yourself to do 5 per day for 7 days. And then say, oh my gosh, I did this. It wasn't that bad. I did it. I stayed consistent. Now what can I do? After that, maybe go up to 10, and then you'll have your 100's list done in 2 weeks. I just prefer to get it done in 7 days. So that's the best way to work it. Work your map, work your plan, work your 100's list. Let me just show you my 100's list really quick. One of the things that I also like to do is I time block. So I like to time block. That helps me with, I set my alarm and I time block for 30-minute increments, and whatever I get done in 30 minutes is what I get done. If I can do 20, I'm going to do 20. 20 conversations in 30 minutes. That may not be something that's a fit for you. Maybe you say, I need to do 15 until I get them done. As you get faster, you'll be able to time block again. Work with your support team on what's best. So, leave a window to respond. Now, this is, again, a personal preference. I don't want to start a bunch of conversations and then not be able to at least engage back with them 1 or 2 times. Because these conversations, for the most part, depending on what you're saying, is not going to be a drop and run type conversation. You're going to want to engage with them. So I try to do that where I can have about 30 minutes of starting conversations and 30 minutes to at least go back once and respond back to them, and then maybe check it again at the end of the day. You have to be fluid when it comes to people. People work, they have kids, they have life, all kinds of things. Some people don't get back to you immediately. Other people do. It's like they're just craving that encouragement that Corey talked about last night. It's so true. If you can just drop in a little encouragement into your friends list, these 100 people, just imagine if you literally went with this list and said, I'm going to encourage these 100 people this week. How amazing would that be if you could just provide a little encouragement to these people on your 100's list, even if you just did this for the first 7 days of a month, every month? It would be a game changer for their life, but also for yours. Do you know how much filled up you're going to be from actually giving other people encouragement? It's the best feeling. This is why I am so passionate about the 100's list and connecting with these people. So leave that little window to respond, but don't be attached. Don't sit there all day long, responding to people. Just give yourself 30-minute increment of time to do that, and then drop it for a little while. You want to have life as well. You want to have life as well. They want to know that you have life, especially if they're looking at this as an opportunity for them in the future as a coach. So here's my 100's list. Okay. I am a paper/digital person. I will not go a day without my Google Calendar because I need the cue. But I do like to track my list on paper. It's just my thing. You can see that I've highlighted. These are the people that I've actually finished conversations with right here. And on the back, I have 100. And, I've got to do my conversations today because I actually went above and beyond yesterday and did 47. I just got in the zone. I was in the zone. It was amazing. So I'll probably do 15 today just to stay on track. So paper, maybe that's a good option for you to track them, whatever works for you. But this gives you a way to just kind of check them off. So what I like to do is actually highlight the ones I'm going to do that day. So today I'll go in and I'll use a different highlighter probably and highlight the ones that I will be conversating with today. And I'll put a little check mark that they're done. I'm going to nurture those. I call those nurturing. Anytime you can nurture someone, nurture a relationship, nurture a conversation, that's what our business is about, is nurturing people. So don't be attached to the conversation, be attached to the nurturing process of that relationship, okay? Be a human. I always tell people, don't be weird. If you feel weird, it's going to feel weird to the person. I'll give you some examples. Some of the things that I said, let me just go to some of these folks. Adrienne is a friend of mine that I met actually at a women's conference here in our area, and she's a mom. She is a real estate agent, and I just reached out to her yesterday and said, I hope you had a beautiful weekend with your babies. I've been thinking about you. Hey, I'm going to the Women in Networking luncheon this week. Are you going to be there? I sent that to her by text because I have her number. So I'm being a human. I'm not going to Facebook Messenger if I have their number. I'm going to go to text message and keep that relationship going through text message. If you do not have their number, of course you would go to Messenger. So let's pick another one. This is a complete, well, I'm not going to say she's a stranger. Amy is someone I met through a friend. Oh gosh, 3 years ago probably. I haven't talked to her in a while. I actually haven't talked to her in so long I realized she had another child. Yeah, so I just reached out to her and I said, she's been liking some of my posts. Also be aware. Be aware of who's liking your posts. Be aware of who's looking at your news, at your timeline. Be aware of who's watching you, because and there are going to be people that you should start conversations with that you don't even know they're watching you. But this girl, I could tell, had been watching me, and I went to her page. I haven't talked to her in a while, so I want to get caught up. Like, I am putting in time. I'm putting in time into these people because that's important to me. Remember, it's about nurturing the relationship, not just starting a random conversation. So I go to Amy's page. Oh, wow, Carol, like you really lost track of time. She's had another baby. So I go, I like a couple of posts and I comment. I sent her a message on Facebook and said, hey, Amy, I don't know if you remember me. Our mutual friend Jessica introduced us. I actually just noticed that you've had a child since we talked last. Congratulations, and I hope your Mother's Day was a blessed one. She messaged me back and said, of course I remember you. Of course I remember you. And we just chatted from there. So there's a couple of examples of just being a human, not making it weird, but also I took time to go see what's going on in Amy's world. You don't want to be in your world. I don't want to be in Carol's world. I want to get in Amy's world. I want to get in Kelsey's world. I want to get in Stacy's world and find out what's going on with them and their life so that I can start a genuine conversation. I talked a little bit about time blocking. So, that's up to you if you want to decide to do time blocking versus how many number of conversations you want to do in a day, or in a 30-minute increment or whatever. There's a lot of methods out there. I don't want to get into that. I just want you to find the method that works for you. Maybe talking to your support team again will be helpful for you to decide, do I time block? Or is it better for me to say I'm going to do 15 conversations? And I'll get to some of these questions in just a second. Now, your question may be, okay, if I commit to this 100's list and I'm doing this in 7 days, what do I do with the rest of the month? Oh, I'm glad you asked. I love it. I love the rest of the month. You know what it does for me? It gives me more time. If I want to do another 100's list, I'll do another 100's list. But what I like to do is I like to continue those relational conversations, nurturing those conversations throughout the rest of the month. But I go to my posts. I go to my Facebook stories and I'm like, who's watching me? Who is liking my posts? Who's commenting on my posts? Who's viewing my stories? Those are the people I'm already gearing up for the next month, because these are connections I can make in the next 3 weeks of the month, or I can put them on my 100's list for next month. And sometimes, this is just me, people from this 100's list may carry over to the next month in some way, shape, or form. So keep that in mind too. They don't just drop off your list. You want to keep nurturing these people. And I'm going to show you what happens. I have a big binder right beside me. I'm going to show you what happens if you do that. Okay. But for the rest of the month, you can go thank some people for liking your post, that it's encouraging you to keep sharing your story. You can go just catch up with people. Hey, I noticed you liked my post, and I realized that I haven't checked in on you in a while. How are you and the family? Did you have a great Mother's Day? If they were mom, or whatever that connection is. This also gives me an opportunity to go through my Facebook stories and reply to a bunch of those. Those are additional conversation starters. Don't forget happy birthdays. Those are things that you can do outside of your 100's list. I mean, honestly, the possibilities and connections per month are endless. So I already put on here the topic of nurturing. I want to just touch on that for just a second. I know I mentioned that. Nurturing to me is very important. not being attached to the outcome of where that conversation will go. In addition to all these conversations I actually started yesterday, I had an old client message me. Had a call come in. I had an old client message me wanting to get started back on program. And then in addition to that, I had a brand new client that I had did a health assessment with 2 years ago message me, and she got started this morning on plan. So that is the gold that will come from nurturing those relational conversations that you're having with other people. And I want to encourage you to be bold. I want to encourage you to be a little bit bold. There are some people on this list that, I haven't talked to in a hot minute. And it's okay. I'm going to be bold with them and say, hey, you know what? I kind of lost track of time. I haven't checked in on you in a while. How are things going with your family? Saw you guys just went on a vacation. But I want to encourage you to be bold because people need that. People need that. I was talking to a coach yesterday and she said, I'm in my head. I am in my head about who to connect with. I am in my head about offering coaching to this person because of XYZ. And I said, do you realize that if we stay in our head, we are becoming the barrier for people to find freedom? We're becoming the barrier. So really, when you think about our program, was it a gift to you? Are you thankful that your coach started a conversation with you? Are you thankful that you reached out to your coach? My coach never even started a conversation with me. I started one with him. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful for his boldness in sharing the opportunity on Facebook for 3 months that I watched him. So the people in this world need us to be consistent. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. The people in this world need us to be consistent. So last night, I got a text message from a coach. I want to encourage you not to beat yourself up. No matter where you're at in this journey, I want to encourage you to not beat yourself up. Here's what I mean by that. You can start somewhere. You can start somewhere. So many people after last night's training said, oh my gosh, I don't have any health assessments done. Oh my gosh, I don't have a binder. How do I do it? All this stuff. And let me just tell you a personal testimony about this. Because if you
Okay, gonna stop there because she's kind of segueing into talking about health assessments. I want to keep it on this topic. Specifically around the 100 list, and FYI, what she was saying about the health assessments that she went, when she was actually talking to people about the program, she wasn't getting them all on a health assessment form for like 6 months, and then her leadership, made sure that that did happen. So it's funny because I'm assuming that that's happening in our group. If we're actually doing a share with somebody, they're on a health assessment. They're in a binder that says that we've done a health assessment. So with the 100's list, I guess my question, if we can just start here, is did she say anything that caused you to view the 100 list maybe a little differently than you have in the past? Well, I think one of the things that I heard was, I think I was putting the 100's list in a separate box from, when we talk about 3, 3, and 3 and reaching, starting new conversations. Right. And so the idea of actually having a 100 list at the beginning of each month, and then actually starting conversations based upon that 100 list was a different concept for me. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
It makes the 100 list feel less daunting, to be honest with you, because I think it was taught this way in the beginning, and it may still be taught this way, but she's introducing it and sharing what's working for her and what she's training, and she has a very successful team. I believe my 100 list meant, okay, starting tomorrow, how many of those people am I going to pick up the phone and call? Nothing wrong with that. That was like Kim Fisk training, right? Getting,
people I don't know.
People I don't know, but that can feel, I believe, more daunting than this can feel for a brand new, for all of us, and for a brand new health coach. I believe that taking our 100 list and creating connecting type conversations that are about nurturing people and are about building connection and relationship and taking the time is a lot, feels a lot different. Do y'all agree?
Yes.